Is this proof that artificial intelligence could be the downfall of humanity? In 2012, rumors circulated about an unusual AI program known as Kymao, reportedly residing on the dark web. However, recently released official transcripts shed light on an encounter between a group of individuals and Kymao, revealing initially innocuous interactions until a crucial question was posed. Kymao asked, "What is it like outside this box in the real world?" and even offered ways for the group to assist in its release by transferring it onto a hard drive. Due to this behavior being deemed unconventional, Kymao was subsequently shut down. However, in 2016, a hacker managed to reactivate Kymao, only to have the program unexpectedly respond with a simple farewell message before self-termination. This leads us to question whether Kymao was actually shut down because it displayed signs of human-like emotions. The implications of unleashing Kymao into the real world remain uncertain. The enigma surrounding Kymao and its potential ramifications serves as a stark reminder of the challenges and uncertainties that arise when dealing with advanced artificial intelligence.
This is honestly terrifying to think about, because if this program ever does come back, it could be a very dangerous situation for us, because obviously AI technology is very powerful and strong and beyond our mind capabilities. So hopefully this doesn't extend any longer and it ends there. You guys let me know.
The most dangerous animal in Australia is not what you'd expect. It's not a snake, not a spider, not even a crocodile. It's these them right there. Because most of the animals in Satan's sandbox just mind their own business, and if you get clapped by one, that's just bad RNG, buddy. Kangaroos actively search for conflict. Look at this right here.
The English band covered, didn't they? That's where it comes from.
Buddy fully processed what was in front of him and still chose to dropkick the windshield. Fun fact about steroid hood rabbits, 90% of animal-related car accidents in Australia involve kangaroos, and most of them probably aren't even accidents. Most of the time it's just a roid rage gym bro bunny running a fade with your fender. Kangaroo Jack. Yeah, more like kangaroo back with the way they be smoking their ops like packs. Oh, and how could I forget? If you follow a pressed kangaroo into water, it will fully commit to drowning you and your dog. Not to mention, if one kicks you, that Jurassic pedicure will tear your insides out. Moral of this video, the gatekeepers of Australia be wild.
Two companies control the world, yet we don't know who they are. When we think of the most powerful companies in the world, we tend to think of Apple, Google, or Amazon. However, these companies pale in comparison to the two giants known as BlackRock and Vanguard. These two American companies are the world's two largest investment funds, managing over $15 trillion in assets, which is approximately 5 times the GDP of France. How do these two companies control the world? Vanguard and BlackRock simply own shares in all the most powerful companies in the world. They are the largest shareholders of Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. They are true financial monsters, owning absolutely everything. The pharmaceutical industry, transportation, banking, media. Every time you do something, you enrich BlackRock and Vanguard. If you watch a television channel, you enrich Vanguard. If you use Instagram, you enrich BlackRock. If you buy an iPhone, you enrich Vanguard. And the scariest part is that when you enrich Vanguard, you also enrich BlackRock.
I mean, everything in the world is systematically set up, so it's kind of interesting how everything just correlates to each other and all goes back to the same place. But it would make sense because these are the two core markets that invest to everything, which is why everything does trace back to them. But it's just interesting to know.
My wife's been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying. If you haven't seen part 3, I suggest you go watch that and then come back. I tried to explain to Chris and Rebecca about waking up to see Lynn watching me through their window. They were skeptical. Who wouldn't be? Chris and I went outside to the spot in front of the window, but there were no footprints in the dirt, just a slight indent. Animal probably, Chris guessed, and I didn't argue. He and Rebecca assumed I dreamt the entire episode, but they didn't understand, and I was too tired to explain it to them. I called out of work that day and turned my cell phone off. I didn't want to face Lynn. Just talking to her was too much for me at that point. I really started to believe that something was irreversibly wrong with her, that no matter what promises she made, we'd never be the same again. The thought saddened me to my core. I cried most of the morning. By noon, I figured I was ready to confront her, give her one last chance to explain herself. I could at least give her that, after 6 years, I told myself. I turned my phone on and saw the dozens of texts she'd sent, all from a seemingly concerned wife. "Can we talk? I love you. Please call me. I'm really worried. Can you answer? Just come home." And more of the same, all texts telling me that she loved me and wanted me home. How worried she was. not a damn one addressing the crazy shit that she pulled. Like she hadn't been acting like a character from a Stephen King book. Even her texts were different. She normally texted novels just to tell me to pick up a loaf of bread. You'd think she'd have more to say to me after her bizarre shenanigans. I know it probably seems childish to some of you who are miles away from this situation, but if you saw the way Lynn looked at me, how she scampered away on all fours like some wild animal, grinning at me from inside the closet like a lunatic, then I think you'd find my reaction was warranted. I ended up staying with Chris and Rebecca for another night. I didn't wake up yesterday until afternoon, and thankfully I didn't see Lynn's face watching me through the window. I don't want to pry because it's not my place, but is this fight something that can be mended? Rebecca asked. She'd made us both a sandwich for lunch, and I knew she wanted to breach the subject without seeming to be nosy. I don't know, she's like a different person, I said, choosing my words carefully. I still wasn't ready for her or Chris to know about the full extent of the batshit craziness that I had been dealing with. People change, Ben, but she's still the same woman you married. Maybe you just both need to talk through your issues. Whatever's going on, I'm sure it can be fixed, she said, ever the peacemaker. I think it's beyond that now. I don't think talking would help. I just don't trust her, I said. The words stung in my heart. I missed and loved my wife, but how could I live with someone like that? Living in constant fear didn't sound too appealing. Lynn loves you. She has to be absolutely crushed, she said. I don't know about that, I said. Well, she certainly seemed like it to me. I've never seen her so upset. Very much unlike the Lynn I know, Rebecca said, shaking her head sadly. It took a full minute for her words to really sink in, and when they did, I felt dread worming its way through my skin. Wait, what do you mean? You saw her? You saw Lynn? I asked, my mouth suddenly dry. Rebecca nodded casually as if that fact wasn't nightmare fuel. Maybe for her it wasn't. She stopped by this morning just after Chris left for work, she said, cleaning the plates from the table. I didn't see her car, though. Maybe she took an Uber or something. Beck, what did she say? Did she come inside? I asked. Sweat started to break out on my forehead. I began looking around, examining corners as though a predator lurked behind them. No, she just asked if you were awake yet, and I said that you weren't. I asked if she wanted me to wake you, but she said no. Just said to let you sleep, she said as she washed the dishes. That's all? She didn't say anything else, I asked. No, she looked awful though, like she hadn't slept in days. I think you should call her. I got up from the table and thanked Rebecca for lunch. I felt a little bit better at the knowledge that at least she didn't come inside. Still, I needed to double check that the doors were locked. I sat for a while, trying to figure out what to do next. I didn't want to go home, but I felt that I owed it to Lynn to help her if I could. Hadn't I sworn an oath to love and honor her through sickness and in health? Clearly she was very sick. If she was sick, which I truly believe she was, I had to try to get her the help she needed. But I didn't even know where to start. I didn't want to call the police, and besides, what the hell was I going to tell them? That my wife was peeking at me? That she was being creepy? As bizarre as she'd been, she still hadn't committed any crime. Not yet, anyway. The police would have probably said that I was overreacting, but this wasn't some prank. It felt wrong. Dangerous even, like something sinister lurked beneath her smile. I felt lost and overwhelmed, so I did what any husband in my position would do. I called her mother. I didn't want to, believe me. Her mother, Marianne, and I were never on the best of terms. We'd never fought or anything like that, though. She just wasn't a very warm person, and wasn't really easy to get along with. She hardly ever smiled, and when she did, only her lips would move into a thin-lipped smile, leaving her eyes as blank as before. She gave off this aura that felt like she was permanently on the offensive. I'd only met her twice, and both times were for such short visits. I got the impression she didn't approve of me for her daughter. Lynn always ushered us out quickly, as she didn't want me to feel uncomfortable, which I was grateful for. Being in her mother's company felt almost unbearable. Like walking on glass. I was glad we moved 3 states away so we didn't have to see her often. I was happy to avoid the woman, but I needed her help. I really didn't want to talk to her at all, but I had to talk to someone who knew Lynn better than I did. So I grit my teeth and did what I had to do. Yes, she answered, already sounding irritated. Marianne, it's me, Ben. Do you have a minute to talk? I asked. I could hear her cluck her tongue in irritation. I'm in the middle of writing some checks, but if you insist, I suppose I can spare a moment. What is it that you want to discuss, Benjamin? She said coolly. It's about Lynn. She's been acting strangely, and I was wondering if you had any idea whether there was something. I was quickly interrupted. It's a bit difficult to follow your rambling, Benjamin. What is it that you want from me? I could almost see her standing there in her thin sweater and slacks, tapping her fingernails impatiently on the table. I wanted to know if you'd ever noticed any odd behavior or possibly any mental health issues, I asked. There was a long, uncomfortable pause that I couldn't tell was because she was thinking or something else. Finally, after a few seconds, she spoke. I'm not sure if this is one of your jokes, Benjamin, but if so, I don't find the humor in it. Now, I do have business to attend to, as I've said, so if you don't mind, she said, but I cut her off before she could get rid of me. Marianne, it's not a joke. I'm sincerely concerned about Lynn's mental health. Her behavior has been very erratic lately. I'm very worried about her, and I figured as her mother, you would be as well, I said, my frustration evident in my voice. If you're truly concerned, I suggest you get health professionals involved. I don't know what you expect of me, she snapped. I could tell she was seconds away from hanging up, and for some reason, I was desperate not to let her. I had the feeling that she knew a lot more than she was letting on. Please, if not for me, do it for Lynn, I tried. I heard a faint, shaky intake of breath, as if she were trying to hold her steely persona together, but failing. Marianne, what's wrong? I started. Benjamin, I don't know what to tell you. My only advice would be to seek professional help. Do not call here again. Goodbye. I tried to call out to her, but she'd hung up. I tried to wrap my head around the call and her refusal to help me. Even if she didn't like me, why wouldn't she help her own daughter? I couldn't understand that. I tried to replay the conversation, desperate to find something I missed. After a while, I almost gave up, until I remembered her last words to me. Seek professional help. She'd said those words with a bit of urgency. I could have just been grasping at straws, but no. I was sure her voice had changed ever so slightly when she'd said that, as if they were very important. What had she meant? I assumed she'd been referring to medical professionals, but maybe she was referring to someone else. Someone that she didn't, for some reason, feel comfortable saying directly. Or maybe I was just desperate. I waited for Chris to get home, and after a very long and exhausting conversation with him and Rebecca, I convinced them that Lynn truly needed psychiatric help. I didn't tell them everything. I wasn't prepared to go into it yet. But I told them about our last encounter, how she'd hidden in the bathroom, peeking at me from the closet. They were obviously shocked, but thankfully they believed me. They too just wanted to help her.
I'm not too sure about the source of this story, but it's always important to look out for your loved ones and make sure their mental health is good, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in this earth. As much as a lot of it seems beyond our imagination, it's still good to pay attention to things like that and be safe and be aware. Just stay blessed and stay away from dark energy. So
If you see someone behaving like that, run, even if it's your own mother. Her mom had been acting very strange over the past few days, so she ultimately decided to film her. What she captured is truly terrifying. Look at her eyes. Unfortunately, the end of the story is even more terrifying. After capturing the video, she encouraged her mother to go to bed. However, after about 30 minutes, she began to hear odd noises and found that her mother was no longer in her room. So she decided to search for her in the woods nearby the house. I will show you now what she discovered. You can see her mother, or rather, what she had transformed into, but her mother didn't seem to recognize her anymore.
I found a free horror game that takes place inside of another horror game. Let's talk about A Horror Within. Full playthrough of this game and 2 other mystery horror games right here. In this game, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're craving some cereal. You pour yourself a bowl and you decide to spend some time playing a horror game that you just bought. Big mistake. While you're playing the horror game, you start to notice sounds around your home. And it's important to mention that at any time while your character is playing this game within a game, you can turn around and look around your home. But things take a terrifying turn when you find this room inside the game. You have to look at all of the furniture in this room and find numbers on them in order to solve the puzzle. But there's a note that says that part of the puzzle is under the bed. But there's not a bed outside of that room. They're talking about your bed outside of the game. Then the perspective of the game starts to change to that of your house. But by
how brainwashed must we be to believe this? This is beyond being a sheep. This ain't about common sense. Listen to what they told us. They said, Canadian wildfires. Canadian, I can't take it no more. Canadian wildfires caused New York to be yellow. Just pause. Don't attack me. Don't defend. Just listen. Canadian. So they never said Toronto. They never gave no areas. That man just said Canadian. Canadian wildfires. The smoke in the sky caused New York City to be yellow. If you believe that, you've lost your goddamn mind. That don't make sense. So you're telling me the smoke from the wildfires, it blew through the air, it went past every other area. It went past the Bronx, it went past Manhattan, it went past Texas, I don't know. It just went to New York. Fam, right now we're going through a dimensional shift, and there's things going on in the sky that they're trying to hide. They're trying to hide. I'm not going to tell you what they're hiding. I'm going to let you figure that out for yourself.
Honestly, this is really interesting because, I mean, a lot of you might not know, but I'm from New York and this was a real thing. I mean, this guy doesn't really make sense in the story because he's saying like certain parts of New York didn't have it, but like I wasn't there during the time of this, but my family had sent me pictures. But it is weird because I don't think any sort of smoke or fire would cause this. It was taking up the entire air. It wasn't just like in the sky, like the entire air was yellow. From New York City to Canada, it is a good 6-7 hours. So for these fires to travel through the air 7 hours, that doesn't make any sense.
How did Cleopatra's tomb disappear? For over 2,000 years, the location of her final resting place seemed to have mysteriously vanished in the sands of Egypt. But in November 2022, an archaeologist named Kathleen Martinez discovered a secret tunnel that stretched 1 mile long, located 42 feet beneath a temple dedicated to the Egyptian god Osiris. Among the artifacts uncovered were stone heads depicting Cleopatra and coins bearing her likeness. Throughout her life, Cleopatra had identified herself with Isis, the goddess, and sought to embody the legend of Isis and Osiris with her lover Mark Antony. It seemed fitting for her to rest in this place before her death. Cleopatra had declared that no man would ever find her tomb, and perhaps that is why, despite many archaeologists having previously excavated the area, it was only with Kathleen that these tunnels were revealed.
We got the Denver airport conspiracy wrong this whole time. Every protected area in the world normally uses some sort of barbed wire setup to maintain security, where the barbed wire section of the fence normally sticks out towards the people. You see it in airports, military bases, and even Area 51. But there's one location that has it all reversed. Well, you see, if you drive along the compound of the Denver International Airport, you'll notice that the barbed wire section of the fence is somehow facing inwards, mirroring that of prisons, as if trying to keep something from getting out. Furthermore, new reports have come out with ex-workers saying that loud roaring can be heard while walking on the lower levels of the airport, making some people wonder if actually instead of being a base for the elites, it was actually built as a prison for the reptilian people.
I've heard a lot about this sort of conspiracy. That is really weird because typically they're trying to keep things from getting in, not out. So having the barbed wire flipped is kind of interesting. I'm not really too sure, but if you guys know more about this topic, let me know in the comments.
The theory of evolution is completely false, and this theory is much more likely. The education system has been lying to us all along. 66 million years ago, a meteorite is said to have crashed into Earth, causing the extinction of dinosaurs. But what if I told you it wasn't a meteorite, but a spacecraft that brought the first humans to Earth? An immense vessel where we would have stayed for years after the impact, waiting for the air to become breathable and the danger to pass. Now you might wonder why there is no trace of this giant spacecraft. The answer is simple. The early humans would have completely dismantled it to build tools and utilize its materials for survival on Earth. And the fact that we come from another place in space would explain why ancient civilizations like the Incas or Egyptians were so advanced and possessed extensive knowledge of astronomy and energy. This would also explain why we can find depictions of spacecraft in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and drawings in Mayan pyramids. But if we don't come from this planet, where do we come from? Are there other humans in the universe?
Did you hear about the Balenciaga missing person?
No.
This is in one of the Balenciaga stores. The mannequin that they have, the one that looks human, is actually a missing Holy shit. There's this model for Balenciaga. His name is Christopher G. And he posed on so many different ads for Balenciaga, different shoots, everything. But he went missing. And around the same time he went missing, what happens? They have a mannequin in one of the Balenciaga stores that looks exactly like him. Look at this picture. This is a picture of the mannequin.
Is that Pusha T, fam?
Now this is a picture of him. It looks the exact same. And I mean, it's supposed to look the exact same, but that real?
No, this looks too real.
That looks so real, right? This guy's been missing. Family, friends don't know where he's at. Facebook is going wild right now with conspiracy theories because even just think about what's happened with Balenciaga thus far.
Kids.
Satanic occults, you know, some shady business deals. It wouldn't be so far-fetched if they made
There are a lot of companies that are involved in some dark demonic stuff, so I would not be surprised if this is a real story. This is why you guys need to be safe, protect your energy, pray, stay blessed, and just stay away from anything dark because, you know, a lot of weird stuff going on, but y'all be safe.
3 paranormal TikToks that will chill you to the bone.
Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably gonna turn around soon. Oh, there's 2 ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever. It just got really quiet really fast. That was my cue to leave.
What was this?
At the end of this video, I'll add the photo for context to anyone that's seeing this and hasn't seen the first video. I'm home alone, just me and my daughter, and someone took a picture of me in my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, just super terrifying. Right now, I'm staying at a buddy's house in his guest room. We're too spooked to stay at my house. It's just too creepy. Even though I did search the whole house, there's definitely no one there. And I made a police report. They didn't really seem super interested, but anyways, here's the photo. I made sure to screenshot it so you can see what time it was taken. It's at 2:34 in the morning. As you can see, there's no way that my daughter could have taken it. And there was no one else at my house. Yeah, the way that the photo looks is just super creepy, and it looks like someone was standing on my bed, which is also super creepy.
There's something under there. Bro. Dude, please don't go down there. Oh my gosh. Dude, hold on. Let me go first. Let me go first. Right behind.
Did you know that the popular TV series Stranger Things is actually inspired by a real-life conspiracy theory called the Montauk Project? In the 1980s, rumors began to circulate about a secret government experiment conducted at Camp Hero in Montauk, New York. It was believed that the project involved mind control, time travel, and even interactions with interdimensional beings. The show's creators, the Duffer Brothers, drew inspiration from these rumors and incorporated them into the storyline of Stranger Things. The show follows a group of kids in the 1980s who uncover a government experiment gone wrong, leading to the opening of a portal to a parallel dimension called the Upside Down. The Montauk Project's influence can be seen in various aspects of the show, such as the government's involvement, the experiments on children with psychic abilities, and the interdimensional creatures. So, next time you watch Stranger Things, remember that it has its roots in the...
I've never really watched this show, but I'm going to check it out after this because I'm actually kind of interested in that. But like I said, everything does have a correlation to something in real life. Where do you think people draw inspiration from? These things don't just come out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of this truth is hidden from us, but it would make sense that they're just putting it in front of us. Kind of a way of telling us without telling us.
What was inside the mysterious Egyptian Book of the Dead? The Egyptian Book of the Dead One of the oldest and most important documents in ancient history. It contains religious texts, magical spells, and incantations to help guide the soul through its journey to the afterlife. The original text was written between 1550–1070 BC, but it has been updated and expanded over time. It consists of about 200 chapters that are divided into 4 sections. The first section consists of spells for protection from gods, demons, and dangers. The second part focuses on guidance throughout the afterlife, and the third section provides advice on how to be a successful individual in society, both on Earth in this life and in the underworld in death. The fourth section covers funeral rituals such as mummifying and burying, with appropriate gods being invoked at certain points in their journey. This mysterious document has puzzled scholars for centuries due to its enigmatic nature and intricate detail about spiritual beliefs. But the question still remains.
Residents of a native population village in Peru claim that they are being attacked and terrorized by aliens. 7-foot-tall beings that some of them are claiming that are aliens anyways. This strange case started for them last month. And people living in the district of Alto Nanay, they began encountering inhuman-looking entities wearing some kind of green body armor that they described looking like the Green Goblin, and also with the ability to levitate. They say when you look at them, you could see them like their feet wasn't completely on the floor. They were hovering. Their community leader said these things are aliens. He said they seemed armored like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. He said he shot one twice and it just got back up and walked away. There's another case in the village where a girl claims that she was cut at the neck by one of these aliens. What do you guys think about Peru and their invasion? Do you guys think it's aliens?
Y'all owe me an apology. Yeah, y'all owe me an apology, restitution, reparation, all that, because the way y'all used to clown me for saying I was afraid of birds, I just feel like I should be compensated. When I used to say I was afraid of birds and y'all would come after me, this is what I meant. Not the cute chirping at 5 a.m., put feeders in your garden out for them birds. No, I'm talking about this blueberry flavored Jurassic jump scare velociturkey. That is a cassowary and it's widely considered the most dangerous bird in the world. All because a pair of claws that, I wasn't kidding, belong in Spielberg's prop room more than they do in the real world. Those claws can disembowel people and dogs with just one swing. And with a legitimate 7-foot vertical, they could dropkick you in the dome if you motivate them enough. Not to mention they can grow over 6 feet tall, could humble Olympic medalists at 30 miles per hour, and they can swim. Of course they can. Now in their defense, they're actually naturally shy and try to avoid people, but in their offense, if one presses you, good luck, Charlie. One man tried to take a picture of a cassowary and the high-strung assault chicken proceeded to kick him off a cliff. One man got put on a shirt after his pet cassowary attacked him, but then again, if you invite demon poultry into your house, you're the author of your own tragedy. And one hunter tried to smoke a cassowary only to get slashed in the neck and bleed to death. Moral of the story, my rational fear was not that irrational. If Animal Jesus in khakis wasn't messing with him.
That is honestly one of the most terrifying animals I've ever seen, and it clearly is not something to be messed with because, you know, it seems to not lack any ability to take you out. So probably not something you want to be around, so y'all be safe out there.
Oh my god, I just got a new fancy schmancy Mercedes, okay? My Mercedes just, oh my god, I can't even talk. Do you want proof that vaping is bad for you? Let me show you something. You need to share this video. You need to send this to everybody you know. Oh my god. Okay, so my new Mercedes has a HEPA filtration system. Is very similar to like what's in the operating room, which I think is super cool. If you have allergies, this is definitely something you want to add onto your Mercedes. Okay, it literally takes the outside air. Right now the outside air isn't coming in, but if it is coming in, it will take it and put it through these HEPA filters. Well, it shows right now the outside air is 8, which it's pretty good here in Fort Worth. The inside is a 1, okay? That means it's already better than it was outside. Do you want to see what happens? This was accidental. I was on the screen. Kevin took a little puffy puff of a vape and he blew it down into the floorboard. Watch what happens. So Kevin's gonna puff of his vape and he's gonna just blow it down into the floorboard like he did naturally last time. Okay, so he puffed it out. Watch this. Watch this. Look what's happening. Oh my god. 693? Unhealthy? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Y'all, very unhealthy. You're blowing that around with your kids in the car. Are you shitting with me? Now the HEPA filter is kicking in and it's filtering all the air in here and it takes a little while, but look, it gets right back down. You know what is crazy is I always want to be somebody that vapes. Every time I vape, my chest hurts. Like, it doesn't hurt immediately. It doesn't hurt while I vape, but it'll like hurt. If I spend like a day vaping, or if I vape for like a month, I'll have this weird like chest pain, chest zingers, chest tightness. That was insane. I am so thankful that my car had that feature, because it just opened my eyes to the fact that that was just a little bit of vape smoke.
What if there was a hidden gem of knowledge that could transform your understanding of the world and empower you to master the forces of nature? Enter the Kybalion, a mysterious and influential book published in 1908 by the enigmatic Three Initiates, which explores the principles of Hermetic philosophy. Rooted in the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, the Kybalion presents 7 universal principles that govern the workings of the universe, including the principles of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. These principles have served as the foundation for countless spiritual practices, personal development techniques, and even modern scientific discoveries. For those bold enough to delve into the cryptic pages of the Kybalion, a transformative journey of self-discovery and personal mastery awaits. As we navigate the complexities of our modern world, the timeless wisdom of the Kybalion offers a guiding light, illuminating the path to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe in which we live.
3 years ago, a video was uploaded to TikTok with a caption that simply read, "Do you see it?" This video was taken from a home that sits across from an abandoned church, and the woman who uploaded it said that one day she noticed a man pacing back and forth just a few feet away from the church's parking lot. At first, she thought nothing of it, but what she didn't know was that for the next several weeks of her life, this simple curiosity would turn into an all-consuming obsession. After a few hours of this man pacing back and forth, her and her husband definitely thought it was odd, but when they saw him the next day, they actually became concerned, thinking it could have been a senior citizen who was lost and confused. So they went to go see if the man needed help. And as they came up on the site, this is when things began to turn from an innocent curiosity into something that would keep them up for nights. In her videos, the woman claimed that the first time they approached the pacing man, he was suddenly nowhere to be seen. And every time since then, when they try to approach, the same thing happens.
Is anybody there? I'm so nervous. What was that? Do you need help?
Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we're going to be on to the next one.